Hey guys, this is a market update, a pivotal time for Bitcoin and crypto right now. So much news this week, including an interest rate hike from the Fed. More important though is what they're saying about where they see the economy. The most important thing is employment and how they see that market in terms of when are they actually going to pause and cut. So I want to talk about that in this video, some of the price levels for BTC as well, because such a good move that we've had. We've come into some weakness, which you would expect over the last day or so, but actually still bullish. And I've got some longer term data that's really important in terms of should you be buying now after such a big rally or maybe not. And so let's go over that in this video, timestamps down in the description. We'll get on to Bybit then for the short term. If you are a trader, get a deposit bonus on Bybit via the link below. If you make a deposit and trade, you get up to $4,000 deposit bonus. So check the details via that link. Right here though, I do believe we're still actually seeing very positive and bullish price action for BTC. Yes, we've had a big red day yesterday, as you can see, and that was a big sell-off. However, if we just take a step back at the price action, that was after what I would consider a bullish break of this actually bullish pattern. This is, in my opinion, a bullish consolidation right here. We're going to look at the 4 hour as well, but you can see these support and resistance levels that we've broken through. We broke through the 18,000 resistance. We then broke through and consolidated around 20 to 21,000 around there, which was a big support and resistance level. And now we're actually consolidating around this 22,800, let's call it 23,000 level. Now the next level to actually take out pretty much is this level up right here, which is 25,000. Now it's not going to be a straight line to there because we have the FOMC meeting this week. It's going to be a lot of selling, buying, and sort of false flags around the meeting for sure. We know it's going to be a 25 basis point increase, but what are they going to say about the future? Are they going to hint at another increase, or are they going to hint that they're actually pausing? I believe if they hint, especially Jerome Powell, if he actually comes out a little bit more dovish and says, we are pretty much done at this point. He's not going to say that, but if he comes out with some rhetoric to say, hey, we're kind of done, right? We don't really need to be hawkish anymore, then I think the market will definitely rally off the back of that, definitely into this 25 level. And I've got a box up here that we'll look at later. To show some longer term price levels that I'm looking at, I always come back to this chart and the Bitcoin cycle. I believe the Bitcoin cycle itself probably has bottomed at this point. And really, it's just up to the macro at this point. But if you're a Bitcoin investor, you just invest through those cycles. As we can see, each of these blue lines right here, these vertical blue lines, are Bitcoin halvings. We have the next Bitcoin halving in around March, April 24. It depends on how many blocks are produced. We have, after each halving, a huge rally and an all-time high, and then obviously the bear market. So going back to 2014, we have this bear market, and then we have the yellow phase here, which I think is a consolidation. And as you can see, that consolidation does often come back to the log regression right here. This is kind of the the regression of the growth of the Bitcoin network in terms of its price. So we have the price coming back to the regression line on multiple occasions during this consolidation. We also have it only touching twice during the last consolidation. So we have the Bitcoin bear market down to basically the regression trend again, and then the whole thing took off. So a massive, from peak to trough here, 200% rise. This is, in my opinion, the phase we're in right now. So we're going down to the regression line again. Now, as you can see in the previous regression, we really just came back somewhere close to it and then took off again. But then we had, that was 2019, which obviously when, markets took a puke here, and we came back to the line again, and then obviously took off when Fed and other central bank intervention took place. We've now come back down to this regression line right here. And as Bitcoin price movements are coming a little bit more compressed over time, I would suggest a 280% move from trough to peak during this consolidation, 200% move here from this to this. This is more of a time, not a price, right? Because you can see the price went up higher here. What I'm looking at really is time. I can't trade prices because they're unpredictable, but time is a lot more, simple to actually predict. The market cycles in terms of how the economic cycle moves, business cycle, and Bitcoin cycles. These are much easier to predict. So what I'm looking at really is time here. So a 200% move from the bottom to when the halving takes place. And then here, if we assume maybe a lower move around 80%, you're looking at a price around 30K here. Now, again, the price is a little bit less relevant, right? Because you can't predict that, but we've already come back to the regression line once, and we have significantly bounced off that. we could come back to the regression line again, but I do believe we are not in this drawdown bear phase anymore, but we are in the consolidation phase. And so what I would be looking to do, as I'm a long-term investor, is really accumulate in the bottom half of this phase. And if we do have some crazy moves up to around the top of this phase, around 30K, that's something where I wouldn't be too comfortable buying in at this point in time, and the price can get away from us. That 30K level is fairly important because if we look out to the chart, we're going to go to the day chart. That is really a huge consolidation level for BTC, as you can see, and I've drawn this. This is really that level where the phase is taking us to this year that might happen. Before we get into the health of the Bitcoin network, which is showing a lot of fundamental health right now, an update to the Crypto Investor course is coming this month. If you are in it already, that's completely free for you guys. The price will be going up when the update comes. It's going to be in the next few weeks. I'm also adding an affiliate program to the course as well. I'll update everyone in the course and on Twitter, so follow me if you're interested in that. Looking at the Bitcoin hash rate though, as the price has risen so much recently, there's actually much more profit in mining. We've hit an all new time high for the Bitcoin hash rate. So just showing ultimate strength right now. A lot of larger players are coming on and driving up the hash rate, which is important because as hash rate goes up, as price goes up, the Bitcoin cycle, the down cycle, essentially, it's easier for miners to make money, which means that they don't have to sell as much. And, the Bitcoin cycle remains within a healthy range. As you can see here, this is the Pure multiple as well. So the Pure multiple looks at miner profitability. Now, this is important because when miners are unprofitable and they start shutting down and they start selling more of their Bitcoins, obviously fund, the business itself, or just to completely shut off, that usually signals the bottom of a bear market or a bear cycle. And you can see that right here. Around 2015, you got the Pure multiple right down here, miners capitulating, and that signaled a fantastic buying opportunity. We also saw one right here. This was around 2019, and then we saw one right here as well. That was a good buying opportunity. And important is that you're seeing the Pure multiple now out of this buy zone. It's definitely not overbought. And so, I'm still happy to accumulate around these levels. But this is important because this is often signaling the end of a bear market. And so when it comes to Bitcoin cycles, not the price itself, but the longer term cycles, there are just so many fundamental pieces of information that show we are coming out of that, the drawdown phase into the consolidation into the next phase upwards. Why the Fed will eventually cut no matter what they say and why the market is trying to preempt that, this data shows. The first one is inflation over time. This is the rate of increase in goods and services. Central banks never let this go into deflation. They never let prices go down. Even the global financial crisis, a deflationary period here because of the recession, QE comes along, pumps up inflation again. They can't let prices go down. Doesn't work because they need the price of the rate of inflation to be higher than the interest paying on their debt so they can debase the debt. Right here is the last few years. Now, they don't want this to come down. They don't want to reverse this inflation. They just want to stop this going up at 8% and bring it 2%. But 2% is still above zero. So that's why you need scarce assets. Also, the unemployment rate is just ticking up to levels where we've seen huge recessions before. Currently, right at this red level, when it ticks up to blue, those are fairly large recessions. Given that unemployment is lagging and often takes a while to feed through, we could suggest that this is already on the way to ticking up to recessionary levels. And so that's one of the Fed's mandates, full employment, and they won't have it right here when this ticks up. We're just waiting for the data at this point. You can see here as well, layoff announcements. They are getting more as we come into January for this year as well. For Bitcoin this year, then, I think the narrative is much more conducive to a good rising price of Bitcoin as the economic cycle and as central banks start to, potentially come to the end of this phase and then go into the next phase, potentially fighting slower growth. Growth is good for BTC, so that's why we've seen this huge markup. If you are a trader, get that 4,000 deposit bonus on Bybit. Check out the Crypto Investor course as well. New videos coming in the next few weeks. Prices going up when that update comes. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.